Hello and good morning. I am Jeff Blankenberg. I'm here today working on some Alexa stuff, and just a quick recap from yesterday. We decided we were going to work on our scoreboard. So quick backstory. We're building an Alexa skill. It does lots and lots of different things, and it's meant to be explored by Alexa skill developers. Good morning, Kevin Evans. And as a part of that, I've littered achievements throughout, right? Do one of these things or do 5 of these things and you get an achievement. Now they're not listed, so you can't like just go find a list and be like, oh, I want to do this achievement, I want to do this thing. You just kind of discover them as you go through the skill. But I thought it would be kind of cool to build a scoreboard, a leaderboard, that shows what place you're in the grand scheme of the number of achievements that you've accomplished. And it's not just the number of achievements, it's actually each achievement can have a different value. And so yesterday we came up with a cool way. In fact, I'm going to just move over to this view already. Yesterday we came up with a cool way to, let's see if I can get over to where I was yesterday. I haven't even touched this machine since we last talked. So I've deleted some things and played with some stuff, but the general idea is that we have all of these users in our user table. And then we built an automation using some scripting inside Airtable to actually calculate what place we're in. So if I look at user achievement, I have a couple of things in here, but I'm going to get rid of both of these. And if I just by doing that, I have gotten rid of all of that data. And so now I should be able to see my leaderboard, which is just the place and the score. These things should increment automatically as I use the skill, because I should get an achievement. I'll ask for like a sound effect or something. Alexa, open Voice Developer.
This is Voice Developer.
Alexa,
did you know?
Give me a random sound effect.
Here's a random sound effect called Answering Machines. 12. What should we do now?
Stop.
Don't forget to be awesome. Achievement unlocked. You used the stop intent. You have earned 1 point.
Okay, so it quit the skill. I got an achievement for quitting the skill just the first time. And then you could see that my database just recalculated everything. So now I have one person with 1 point, and then it adjusted the places so that I am in first place, and then literally everybody else that has 0 is in second place. And as this grows and grows, and we have more people diversifying their scores, every time somebody gets a new achievement, it will recalculate the scoreboard for me. And so then I should be able to say, you know, what place am I in, or what's my what's my position on the scoreboard, or what score do I have? Pardon my eating. And we're going to go ahead and do that today. So, I shouldn't have opened this granola bar because now I'm going to chew and talk and annoy everybody. I'm sorry. So yesterday we built a scoreboard intent handler, and the entire intent and everything everything that is necessary to ask about the scoreboard. And so if we look at this file, where am I in the standings? What place am I in? Scoreboard, leaderboard, what are the standings? I could also say things like, what would be a good way to put this? What is my score? Or what is my achievement score? Or how many achievements do I have? We'll just add those as a couple more because I'm going to tweak up how I think about excuse me, providing this data to a user. And I think we already really have this information because of the way that we've structured this data and the way that we pull it in to the system. So if I, gosh, I'm just going to eat the whole thing and we're just going to be done with this. I'm just going to get there while I chew. Apologize. Okay, done chewing. We can throw that away. So, yeah, Kevin, I apologize. No card breaks today. The next one I have coming up card-wise is 2023 Topps Chrome Platinum. No, I'm sorry, 2022 Topps Chrome Platinum Anniversary. It's a Chrome version of the 1953 set, but with modern players. They did one last year for the first time with the 1952 set. And they were pretty gorgeous, so I decided to give those a run again. So I have those coming. But for this scoreboard, we have some things that we need to do. We need to get their current score and current place in the standings. And I think for the most part, I already have this data. So if we look at like index and we look at how we refer to session attributes. Do I have anywhere in here that I do that? Session attributes.user is field. So it's session attributes.user dot whatever the field is in the database. That was what I wanted to find. So if I say scoreboard intent, then we can say var score equals session attributes dot user dot what do we call it in the database? Score. Okay. And current place, we should be able to do that too. Var place equals session attributes.user.place. And this stuff should automatically come through just as a part of how I structure all of my data here. So I have this database table, user, and has all these fields. So I can shrink this down. All these fields for how you're storing your emotion and domain and emphasis, and how many sound effects you've heard, how many speech cons you've heard, answers you've provided, all that kind of stuff. And when you open the skill, I use your anonymous user ID as my primary key, and I come into this database and I grab your entire record. So literally everything that's here, and all of that stuff gets stored in this user object. And so if we go to my testing, do we have a? I don't think we have one open. Oh, stop itching. Okay, so if we go to test on this, let's just do an open voice developer.
Hello, and welcome to
that's
Voice
even enough.
Developer. This skill can give you information and answers about Alexa skill development. Another thing I can do is play speech cons, like this. Bazinga! Just ask me to say a speech con. What should we do now?
Get user record. I also want to leave myself a note in here. We should ultimately refine this query so that we are only bringing back relevant data. This could start to get huge as more achievements and answers are heard. Okay, so basically the problem I have is that right now I'm pulling back the whole record. And as we see here in the database, user answer, this is me basically keeping a record. Good morning, Dana. This is me keeping a record of every answer that you've heard so that I know when you say teach me something new or give me something random, that I can pull something that you haven't heard before. Missed answers are things that you've said that are not matches. So my missed answer table looks like this, right? It's Taco Bell, socks, Red Bull, things like that that I haven't heard from you, or I don't have a response for. So as this grows and as time passes, these two especially will get very big, but also user achievement. There's currently 59 achievements, but there's going to be hundreds, I think, by the time we're done with this. And so keeping track of all of those also is kind of a pain, and I don't really need that data in your local user record all the time. I can always call the database and look up whether or not you have an achievement. I think that's actually how I do it today. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to tweak that. Anyway, user is what I'm really interested in, and the leaderboard, and I have these two values that I can't find that file. Let's see, scoreboard. Okay, so I think these two are great, score and place. And then later we're going to try to show the scoreboard, but we're not going to do that for now. We're just going to keep this real simple. So speak output can't be this. We need to create some speech. So we should come up with some scoreboard something. I find myself leaning towards scoreboard, even though I think I called something leaderboard, didn't I? Scoreboard intent. Where did I call it leaderboard? That's fine. If I use scoreboard everywhere, that's fine. I feel like there's another place, though. We should add an achievement for this. Scoreboard. You checked your position on the scoreboard. Cool. And that's going to slide up here. Cool, and then we'll have to check that achievement here in just a second also. Okay. Good morning, W. Giorgio. I am a scatterbrained today. Okay, so we need to get into the scoreboard intent. We have our two values, score and place. I need to write some speech that isn't this. So let's do that. We're in our speech table, and we're going to have a Scoreboard. We could just call it scoreboard because there's only going to be one response. It's going to be, you are currently in first place with 20 points. Yeah, I think that's how it's going to work, and we'll come up with some different ways to say that, but I think we can just call it scoreboard. There's not like a scoreboard welcome or a scoreboard detail or anything like that. I think that's probably fine. Okay. Scoreboard is going to be, you are currently in place, and I'm going to have to do that as an ordinal. What's the... Do I have this in here? Say as ordinal. Say as ordinal. So I can wrap ordinal. And then we'll do a little close. You are currently in 5th place with a score of... I mean, that's about as basic as you can get. Now let's come up with some other ones. Scoreboard. Okay. Duplicate row. Do that. Yeah. Okay. Your points puts you in... We're going to have to copy this whole thing because we're going to use it as an ordinal every time, I think. Ordinal. Your 23 points puts you in 4th place. One more. Duplicate record. What's another one? I wouldn't call them variables. I would call them Jeff's string hackery. The way that I am doing what I think you're referring to as variables, W. Giorgio, is that anywhere that you see me doing capital letters like this, it is my intention that I'm going to I'm just going to do a JavaScript replace on that string. So I am building in the places that I will be doing replaces on. Yeah, that would be super cool if you could do variables like that, but I think that's a very specialized use case. But simple string replacement works well, and I do it on capitals, which doesn't exist any other time that I do this. I used to do stuff like this early on. I was trying to be very cautious, so I would do like something like that would never really exist in any other case. But I found, honestly, like this is more readable, and it's still very easy to understand what I'm trying to do. If somebody else looked at this, I think they would, like, you kind of got variables without me even saying it. So, okay, your score, you have score points, which plants you firmly in place. That's good enough for now. Again, we're gonna never ever be done writing strings like this, and anytime we come up with a new one, we should add it because it'll just randomly grab. Again, these are the mechanisms that I build for myself so that I don't have to think very hard in the future. In the same way with like these 2 data points that I'm pulling out of the database. So now, like I can do anywhere else, office hours intent. We have these functions that we built for ourselves. So we say things like, where's? Oh, this is a bad example. Okay, news intent. How about that? Get random speech. So what I want to do is just take one of these and go into my scoreboard intent, and instead of action query, I just want to do this. And the only thing I have to change here is scoreboard. Except that's going to be speak output. And then we'll get rid of this one. And then we'll do it, well, we'll try to do it again. And this one's going to be action query. Like so. And so now I have the scoreboard speech that I want and the action query that I want. Now I just need to do some replacement. And so what I can do here is say speak output equals speak output. I go longhand on this. Dot replace, where I'm going to replace score with score. I know there are shorter ways to do this, but this becomes very easy and obvious to explain what I'm doing. And then speak output equals speak output dot replace place and place. And then we have speak output, an action query, an action query. We could be done telling you what place you're in. There's more work always to do, but I think that we've got to start. So let's fire up some local debugging. And are we there? Did it work? Okay. So then let's go to our testing, and we'll say open voice developer. We'll say scoreboard.
You are currently in first place, with a score of 1. What would you like to try?
Nice. Let's see if I can do this. So currently in first place with a score of 1. Well, let's also give ourselves that check for achievement. So I have to remember how to do this. This is not something I've done. Check sound effect, check SpeechCon. I think I can just say award specific achievement. And what it does is it calls out to the database and it says, do they already have this achievement? And then I think that's how this works. No. How do I do achievements? Let's look at like sound effect intent. Maybe that's not a good example. Stop intent? How do we do stop intent? Check intent achievements. That's the file I should be looking at. Check intent achievements. And in here, all I'm doing is trying to award that thing, but I won't award it if they don't have it. So let's go back to the stop intent and grab that line. And it's just going to be this. Scoreboard intent. We're going to do this. How are we going to do this? After? We should do it after. That's kind of fun. So you say, hey, what's my position on the scoreboard? And I say, oh, you're currently in third place with 23 points. You just got an achievement for checking the scoreboard. That's going to make me want to be like, well, what's my position now? Or I could do it before, but then all this stuff wouldn't be incremented. Well, let's just do it after. That makes it fun and interesting. So this is going to be scoreboard. And I should really call this scoreboard intent. That's really what I should call that achievement, because that stays consistent with others. So if I look at my achievements, I have repeat intent, I have stop intent. This should be scoreboard intent. There's only one of these. I don't give you multiple points for checking it over and over. So now we are checking the intent achievement. And let's do it. If we now say scoreboard,
you are currently in first place, with a score of 1. Achievement unlocked! You checked your position on the scoreboard. You have earned 1 point. What can I help you do next?
and then of course I'm going to say scoreboard again, because I want to see what my score is now.
You have 2 points, which plants you firmly in first place. What would you like to try?
God, I love that. I love not the achievement stuff, but I said scoreboard, and it said you're currently in first place with a score of 1. And then I got an achievement. I was like, oh, scoreboard again. And then it says you have 2 points, which plants you firmly in first place. Like, the fact that that speech is different each time, I think is so meaningful. Even though I'm giving you the same information, it doesn't sound the same. I just, God, that's just so important. Okay. Scoreboard is good. Now, the other thing that we can do, well, potentially, one of the other things I want to do is like ask you your name, or should I should probably just use permissions. Because one of the things that I really want to be able to do is if we look at our user table, the actual full table, I don't have any identifiable information about you. Like, it would be cool on the scoreboard to be able to show like just maybe a first name or something innocuous. But I would need to know that. And my options for doing that are either user permissions, which are kind of clunky, or I just ask you your name, which is also clunky. Yeah, and then privacy policy and all that, and that's fine. I have a standard. If I go to jeffblankenburg.com/privacy, I think I just have this here. I think. No, must be the info. Is it .com/privacy.html? Huh. I really thought I had a file that did this. Weird. Okay. Well, I thought I had a page that was my privacy policy. What if I just search the web for it? Jeff Blankenburg. Ah, there it is. Privacy policy. So this is my privacy policy in general. I would have to update it or have a different one for this, but in general, most of the apps that I've built don't have any of this, so I can just say, no, I don't do that at all. We could use this one. I could tweak this page. So this is, we store the data you provide to the Alexa skill only for the purposes of creating and sending a message to your contact. First name, recipient's first name, and recipient's full name. This must have been a skill that I built that was like an SMS style skill. But have I really had a blog since 2005? Goodness. All right, so that is, I have a privacy policy that exists somewhere. Maybe we should play with some user permissions. We've got some time today. All right, let's do that. So we're going to come into Tools, Permissions, and I really need to tweak this up too. I need customer name. I don't really care about your full name. Or do I? Should I ask for full name? Full name. We're going to say full name. Now, the catch here is that I actually don't want to do it here. Or maybe I do. If I go back here, this is one of those tricky, like, am I working locally? Am I working in the dev console? Like, if I come in here, this is what I'm really looking at is this skill.json, and in here there's a whole bunch of stuff. I think I turned a lot of the permissions off. Yeah, I don't even have. I was starting to work on some custom tasks that I was not successful with, but I don't have any of the permission stuff in here. So what I'd like to do is find the right way to do this. Well, actually, let's try it this way. So that has been saved. That has been saved. So now I can go back to the build tab, and we should be able to here, using the Alexa Skills toolkit, I should be able to say download the skill manifest. It should download it right in place, and now I have this permissions module node. So I guess that's probably my best workflow for doing this, is that now I have the most recent version of my skill manifest. I wish there was an easier way to do that, but that works. So I'll have to update these privacy policies. That's fine. That's at publication. We'll get there. I've got a lot of work to do between now and then. But now I have given name. I have read options on that. Okay. So that means that's already in the client. Let's just do an ask deploy, just because I made some changes to my model. Oh boy, ask deploy. Okay. So while that's running, now what we need to do is say Alexa user permissions. See if I can find the how-to. That's great. Okay, I've got that. Get a user specific, I don't care about that. Obtain customer. I just want the given name. Configure the skill, how to request. Okay, I have to get the API access token from the user. I have to make an API call to get that data, but I have to do it with their permission. Is there a voice? There's a voice forward version of this, right? Using voice forward consent in your skill. I do love a good tutorial. Oh, voice forward for this only works with a voice ID? That seems like, I don't know the percentages on that, but it seems low. The number of people that have actually set up their voice. Well, I should do the card-based one anyway, just to be responsible. Before you begin, not child-directed, must request permission. Okay, how to request customer contact information. So we will. When would we even do this? I guess I would do it like on the launch, in the launch request. We'll just add more nonsense to this. So in the launch request, I will say, let's see, if this is the first time. Probably not. Call that for now. Okay. So I have my session attributes already, so we should be able to say var. What do they want me to call? They want obtain the API access token from the launch request. Okay, well, we're there. Don't store it because it expires. Instead, obtain it fresh from each subsequent request. Make a request to connect to the correct endpoint. And okay, so we'll get to that in a second. So first things first, you want me to get this.event.context.systems.api access token. Okay. That doesn't seem to match anything else, but okay. So we want API access token. That's the thing we want, and that's going to equal handler input dot request envelope dot some stuff. I think it's like system. I don't remember. Let's do it this way. This is another opportunity to tweak up the tech docs. Do we have it everywhere? API access token is right here. So I'm looking for request envelope dot context dot capital system. I do love that they chose to capitalize some things, but not all. System dot API access token. Okay, I've got my API access token. I have an API endpoint. I probably need that geographically. It's not what I asked for. What did I just do? Oh, I kicked it to the other window. So it's called API endpoint. Cool. So this is going to be API endpoint, and both of those should be good. Those should be there every time. So we have those two values. What's next? Documentation. I don't like this documentation. Great. So I want to ask for permission to do this. This page is not good. I'm glad that you gave me this JSON, but where do I send this? Is this a directive? The following is a sample response. Is this the only response? Is this all I send? How do I tell them that I just sent a thing to their card? I'm fine with all that later. How do I prompt them for a card? I see what you're showing me here, but I don't understand how I'm supposed to use it. Have one of you guys done this before? I feel like I've done this, but it's probably been 4 years. An in-session interaction can return a response that includes the new Ask for Permissions consent card. The following is a sample response for a card with a request for name and phone number.